Hello and welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Natalie MacDonald. Kicking things off today, we're going to be discussing cybersecurity. Mario Geniale of Banque CIC joins us in the studio now. Mario, thank you very much for popping in.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so firstly, how has the EU-US cyber fallout earlier this year changed the way that businesses from this region do business with each other, particularly if we consider, for example, American companies' dominance over this market?
Yeah, I think it's a big problem for European companies as they want to be secure from cyber espionage, for example, and with all the discussions that we now have with the NSA and with the US government checking the European governments, and I think the problem is that all the security comes out of the US, the big companies, all the ones that we know, the kind of Symantec, for example, McAfee, and there are other ones. There's one that's called Checkpoint, which is an Israeli company, and we know the ties between the US and Israel. So it makes it quite difficult for European countries or European companies to get some software to secure their own data. And there's definitely a field where either European countries and the governments, and to the other hand also European companies, need to think about how they could probably produce their own, either being its software, or we're talking about either producing their own hardware. That's another field where they should think about, and we talk about operating system as well. Usually all the companies work with Microsoft, either on one hand or on the other hand with Apple, the iOS, and these are three fields where we think that European companies and also Swiss companies as well should think about producing probably their own products.
But similarly, let's not try and pretend that it's only the US engaging in these sorts of cyber espionage activities. Who are the other big culprits? And similarly, with cybersecurity becoming an increasing problem for governments, for industry, for even the general public, who are the victims mainly? Are we seeing specific sectors being targeted, as it were?
Well, we know that China is very active in this field, and we know also that France, as a surprise, is very active in this field, and we also know that Russia is very active in this field, even though that it seems that Russia didn't really appear on the radar screens until now, but it seems that they might be a little bit more clever than the other countries, so they not really got caught until now. Sectors, as always, it's the obvious ones. It's like financials. All the finance companies. On the other hand, definitely also the stock exchanges. We know that Nasdaq has been attacked, for example. And all the sectors where innovation it makes a big part of the business. All the companies that have a lot in investments in research and development, that try to be innovative, that are working in a country where the environment is very innovative friendly. And we know that companies and governments from other countries try to get hold of the data or of the plans of stuff that new is produced, and try to get the plans to produce it by themselves instead of having to spend a lot of money on research and development.
How then are companies choosing to respond to these threats? Are we seeing a lot more of a move internally opposing to outsourcing IT services then, for example?
Well, I think what you're talking about here now is cloud computing, which has been a big theme in the last years. Obviously, the companies offering cloud computing, they always say that their systems are safe and secure, but I think with all the news that we had now recently, it makes it very clear that it is probably not that safe, that it has been sold to the various companies, and probably especially the big companies are now probably rethinking their outsourcing initiatives in order to probably make sure that their data is not going to be somewhere in the cyberspace.
So if we look then at IT and software from an investment point of view, which companies for you are looking particularly exciting at present, or have the potential to sort of make a move on the stock exchange?
I mean, normally you always have the typical ones that are mentioned in the newspapers, you know, about Symantec, for example, McAfee that has been bought by Intel already, and most probably also Checkpoint, an Israeli company, and could be interesting, but that's probably rather more for security for the small people, let's put it that way. All those companies are either American or Israeli. And we know that there are initiatives in Europe and also in Switzerland to create own companies that are producing own products, either software or hardware. Until now, unfortunately, none of them is on a stock exchange. So most probably the way to play this is going to be via private equity. We are in talks with a specialist for cybersecurity. We had an event last week where we presented the last developments in the field of cyber espionage, and he will help us to create probably something for our clients within the next weeks in the field of private equity. It's going to be.
Mary, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your insight into this field for us. Thank you. That's all we've got time for right now, but I'll be back shortly with more exclusive interviews for you, so don't go away. Goodbye for now.